What are the chances? The wife surprises her husband at the worst time. Well, I guess we have 2 dogs now. What's better than a new dog? 2 new dogs. Truthfully, having 2 dogs is not twice as hard as having 1 dog. They tire each other out. Yay! It might be a bit harder when they're puppies, but after they grow up a bit it's easier having a few, and dogs are happier to have a pack. After you potty train them, it isn't bad as puppies, as they direct 90% of their terror energy at each other. When we got our second dog as a puppy, our first dog was 4. So potty training the baby was really easy because the puppy always followed the big dog. And every few hours when we took the puppy outside to mitigate accidents, the big dog would always lead the way. Took less than 2 months for the puppy to be fully broken in, when to the point he would cry to us if he needed to go out, knowing outside is where you go. Thanks, but outliving your dog is simply part of being a dog owner. I've had multiple dogs over my lifetime, and losing each one hurts in a different way. That old dog wasn't my first dog in my life. After losing the old dog I wrote about, I came to terms with the fact that the end result of a dog in your family is that you're gonna have to say goodbye to it. It is beyond heartbreaking, but I wouldn't trade those years we had together to avoid the heartache that happened when she left. Cause regardless of which dog during whatever part of my life, having a buddy greet you at the door after a long day at school or work is just the most amazing thing in the world. See, you don't really fill the hole left in your heart home family when a dog passes. Instead, a new dog will dig its own hole, and that is perfectly fine with me. They are judgment-free friends with whom you can just enjoy each other's company, and that is priceless these days. That's a very poignant and true statement. It really makes me miss my old dog Mighty. Little Fox Terrier. He was a good boy, dog. It's a part of having dogs, or pretty much any pet except tortoises. A tortoise is a generational pet that your great-grandkids will inherit. Yes. I always have 3 dogs and I try to stagger their ages for precisely this reason. Well-mannered older dogs, especially if they're on a solid routine, are the best teachers for new puppies. They do so much of the work for you. Less than 3. I also firmly believe that having young dogs around helps keep older dogs active and engaged, so that's another good reason to have a variety of ages. Our current pups are 16, 13, and 6. We also have a pair of nearly 5-month-old kittens who are keeping all of us on our toes. Less than 3. Great dogs. I bet you also train your dogs really well. What breeds? My partner used to be a foster for abused dogs. Has also trained for personal and competition around I think 37 dogs? Our youngest being their 37th. Our oldest is their personal service dog and was trained by my partner. The oldest is a Japanese Mastiff German Shepherd and the youngest is a Border Collie Dalmatian. Pix Plaza. I especially need to see what Border Collie X Dalmatian looks like. Same, we have an Alaskan Malamute that is 3, and we just got an 8-week-old Golden Retriever about a month ago. The first 2 weeks were challenging. Pluto is the Golden's name. He peed inside while we trained him to ring the bell, which means I gotta pee, let me outside. And crate training at night was a struggle, but he's already 1000% better because he just follows Ghost, the Malamute, around mimicking him. Our first dog took us 3 to 5 months before there were no more pissing accidents and nearly 3 months before sitting next to his cage so he wouldn't cry stopped. Now, they just run and run and run. We got a puppy for us and our 3-year-old dog this spring. So much easier than just a solo puppy. And they were best buds pretty much from the start. 1 dog is a pet, and 2 dogs are dogs. They definitely have different dynamics and have their own agenda between the 2, rather than one. Their people are their main focus. Not saying one or the other is better, just different household dynamics. Totally agree. Having 2 German Shepherds meant they'd work as a team. One would attempt to distract us while the other went to raid the kitchen. Lol. I disagree. House training and chewing problems get doubled. I just got a new puppy last year. Never had so much trouble house training a dog before. He was just not getting it, then found out he had a UTI. But it was a good month of him pissing wherever, whenever. I literally had to buy him a diaper and wash him every day when I got home from work. I can't imagine two of them at the same time. It's probably easiest to get one dog, and once they're a year old and trained, then get the second one. They help with the new dog by correcting bad behavior in a really natural way. When they see them do things they know they got in trouble for, they'll generally nip at the pup to get them to stop it. They learn way quicker when both you and your existing dog are teaching them. Good behaviors get enforced faster. I got my second dog when my first dog was a year old, and that's kind of how it went. The big brother was easier to train and is still probably better at impulse control. The baby brother is still kind of a jackass, but he is really cute, so we call it a wash. They learn differently, but I think it's because I think they have different strengths and personalities. Having a 1-year-old and a puppy is probably way easier than two puppies, as you pointed out. The first one was more eager to learn and quicker to retain new info and commands. The second one is just a wild beast whose body moves faster than his brain. They're both influences on each other, but they're only 3 and 2 years old. I'm looking forward to them growing up their whole lives together. Yeah, but less destruction overall, since they just spend hours playing with each other so they don't do bad shit because they're bored. It depends on the dogs and the type of household actually. I have seen dogs playing together inside a house and wrecking everything in their path. They weren't badly trained, just very excited to play with each other. I mean, yeah, don't have grandma's 300-year-old vase sitting out where they can roll into it and knock it over. Okay. This is absolutely not true, no offense. We have 3 dogs, 2 of whom we got at the same time from a shelter because I didn't want to separate them. They do not tire each other out, and I would venture to say it's way more than twice as hard. But I wouldn't trade them for the world, and I'd make the same call if I had to do it all over again. Are the dogs siblings? They can be harder to train. Their special bond represents a challenge that will make it more difficult for them to bond with you. From when this was originally posted a couple of years back, they'd been talking about getting a dog, and they each surprised their partner with the partner's favorite dog. So they sacrificed their personal wants for their partner and ended up also getting their choice. Like if Gift of the Magi was a Hallmark movie. So, 2 years down the road, she surprises him that she's pregnant, the same day he brings home an adopted kid. Yeah, adopted, that's what he called it, smiley face. Why does he look like you so much? I shopped around. 5 years after that, so the real reason why he looks nothing like you is. Oh my god. The real reason why he looks nothing like you is. After some laughs and some tears, they decide they're both going to enjoy an open relationship and are even stronger for it. And look. The kid comes packaged with a babysitter. He has my blood. Literally has my blood type. I figured if we're going to adopt one, might as well be an organ donor. We'll call him Spare. I'd like to think that he gets pregnant as well and surprises her. Somehow. / I got them a toaster. They called off the wedding and gave the toaster back to me. I tried to return the toaster to the store, and they said they no longer sold that kind of toaster. So now my house has got 2 toasters. Reminds me of the Gift of the Magi. In case anyone here hasn't read it, it's a short story by O. Henry from the turn of the 20th century. The wife and husband are poor but happy and in love. The husband's greatest possession is the pocket watch handed down through generations of his family. The wife is known throughout town for being beautiful, especially her lush, silky hair. They want to get each other a Christmas gift, but being poor they do what they have to get something meaningful for their spouse. The husband sells his pocket watch to get her a set of beautiful ornamental combs for her hair. Wife sells her hair to a wigmaker to buy him a new gold chain for his pocket watch. Somehow, he returned. Pregnant. Life, finds a way. And then she arranges a surprise marriage the same day he brings home his new wife. Or even more surprising, that he reveals he's also pregnant. You thought this was actually a beer belly, didn't you? Well, it is. Just take it back if you got the receipt. You only say that because the other dog is brown. The way they react makes me believe they kept both smile. This is not the first time I've seen the video, and the story is quite cute. They wanted to adopt a puppy but couldn't agree on which breed they would get since they like different breeds. So, as a surprise, the wife got the breed the husband wanted, not knowing that her husband adopted the breed she wanted on the same day. I mean, what are the odds? And it's telling how much they love each other that each put their own wishes behind their spouses. Those dogs don't yet know how much they're going to have in that home. Any sweeter and I'm going to get diabetes. For real now I'm crying, that's a great story. The evidence of my tears would suggest yes. Damn. That couple are just so sweet and amazing. My wife and I have a similar, heartwarming story. She really wanted pizza, I really wanted Chinese. So she brought home Chinese and I brought home pizza less than 3. Sorry, not heartwarming, heartburning. I like this one better. So it's almost the plot of Gift of the Magi. Yes. We will shave the dogs and sell their expensive hair. Better than the Gift of the Magi. Yeah. Who even needs frankincense anyway? /S I know the O. Henry book better than that. Gift of the Magi is a bittersweet story. But this is sweeter than gulab jamun. I mean, what are the odds? The odds are much better knowing all of those details. A regular Gift of the Magi. In that story, each has to give up what they love to get the other a gift, and that makes the gifts received useless. I disagree, my fellow Reddit friend. The gift received, and given, is the gift of pure, selfless, unadulterated love, which is never useless. Right, that's true. But it's not the Gift of the Magi because that refers to something specific. This reads like a love story. I don't care if one bit of it is fake either. Two dog got a new seemingly loving home. This is so wholesome. I was fully expecting him to be having an affair based on the headline. This is so much better. Even the bot doesn't know how to handle this one. They better have taken a look at them code again. Pretty soon the bots will just learn to accuse regular people of being bots because that's both easier and gets guaranteed upvotes. Future bots thank you for helping them learn. Supposed to be they better have. The have greater than of merger happens more and more, I'm finding. Lots of people who speak more than they read. You better have leave them alone. Poor op will never make that mistake again. Roasted. Then you're really going to love? They have better. God. There is no household like a household that has two dogs, who each grow up together from puppy age. At some point every day, that shit gets wild as if. Lol. Never had any dogs growing up cause of allergies. My wife asked for like 10 years and I didn't want to get one cause our kids were really little. For Christmas 2020, we got a puppy and a year later we got a second puppy. You're 100% right. It does get wild and the house now permanently smells like sweaty paws. But they make it feel like a complete home now. The dogs cuddle up and sleep in our bed and follow my wife around non-stop. They love waking up the kids in the morning and they get so happy when my wife picked the kids up from school. The dogs love my dad, and literally lose their minds and tackle him to get ground to be able to lick his face easier. I love my boys and I love seeing them play and grow up as brothers. They're my first dogs, and they're like immediate dopamine hits when I get home after a long day. They smile and wag their tails for me, and they want to kiss me and be close to me. It turns me back into a child, and then being here is an extremely positive effect on the rest of us. They're the babies now, both are poodle mixes, Saturn and Atlas. 2 dogs is less work than 1 dog. Every single poorly behaved destructive dog I know is an only dog. They're pack animals, y'all. They have lots of energy and need friends. Being alone gives them anxiety. Always get at least 2 dogs and your life will be easier. Just want to say that there are tons of poorly behaved and destructive dogs in multi-dog families. My wife is a dog trainer who mostly deals with severe behavioral issues and a good chunk of her clients have multiple dogs. Heck, she has a 5-dog household right now where 4 of the 5 need significant work. Yeah, exactly. The only time it does work is if you have one calm, really well-behaved one and the other kind of follows its lead. But if you have a nervous, jumpy, anxiety-ridden dog, it can also bring out bad habits in your formerly well-trained one. TLDR, dogs are dogs. That's not how it works at all. Look up littermate syndrome. Having more than one dog is fantastic, but personally, I recommend raising them one at a time. That's not how that works. Truly, two puppies can actually create an entire mess, where the two dogs bond to each other rather than the owners and are less likely to get correctly trained. Dogs are extremely human-oriented, and tend to compete for attention and other resources. Reminds when that month when scripted Asia N GIFs was popular. Oh, they absolutely did. Best mistake ever. But my mom said I was the best mistake ever. Did she lie? That truck dog looks like Valve. It's an upgrade option from Wolf Manufacturing. Their ears are soft as velvet. GSBs are awesome. Are you, Veep, kidding me? Smiley face. They were beeping out an even worse word that we'll never know. Reminds me of radio edits that bleep out the God in goddamn. Sorry for saying the G word. I just heard them do that on NPR yesterday. But it was actually an interview from 2002, so maybe it was a legacy bleep. That's because in the 80s and 90s churches would lead crusades against radio stations, emboldened by the satanic panic and Tipper Gore, and run boycott campaigns and whatnot over using the Lord's name in vain, which made advertisers unhappy. So it was easier to just mute the God to avoid the hassle. It's not you. It's Amy, Mario. I thought he has diarrhea or something like that. Babe. I buttered my biscuit. Honey. I smeared my buns. My love. I chocolate ganaches all over my souffle. I can only get so hungry. At some point you're just going to have to stop talking about it and let me eat it.
Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.